It's a very beautiful topic. I've never spoken about this topic. I've never even heard of this topic before. So I don't know whose creative thinking hat it was that came up with this topic. So whenever I have to do a class or a talk, I get asked, what would you like to speak about? And I never give a topic, because if I speak about what I already think about, then I will not think about anything new. So I said to Yogesh, yep, you give me a topic. So that's what I did. And I got this, so which is great. So let's just be together for a few minutes. And as Maria reminded us of Easter, that now it's the time when in Christianity they remember, well, not necessarily their guru, but the head of their religion, if you like, who does represent truth in some way too. It's a time to reach out to many souls with all that Baba has taught us in terms of our own recognition and understanding of what truth means. So we are the fortunate ones who have been given the knowledge of the truth of the self as this pure, loving, unconditional being. Truth of the drama of life, that which goes around comes around. The truth of what was, what is, and what will be. All of it is perfect as it is. The truth of God, who God is, what God is. What is it that He enables? And to know truth means to know everything that is to know. To know the one who gives the understanding of the truth means to receive everything. To abide by the laws of truth means to make a life of truth for myself and also for everyone else around me. So to recognize the truth also means to recognize the truth of the self, the life of fortune, the life of beauty, a life of benevolence, a life of recognition of the power of the unlimited, the power of eternity. Om Shanti. I was trying to do a little bit of bhakti exploration of what it is that denotes a SatGuru. And the idea being that SatGuru, Sat means the truth or true, and Guru means a guide, a teacher. And so what's the difference between a guru and a SatGuru? So guru is someone who is proficient, or someone who is an expert in a specific field and teaches others what he knows. And he takes on the responsibility and the ownership, if you like, of the student. And they teach with not just an intellectual understanding of the topic, any topic that might be, but they also have the passion to make the student an expert in that. And nowadays, we refer to this term quite casually. So-and-so has been my guru, in a sense that you look up to them, you allow them to teach you and guide you and show you a way. So that's one thing. But when this idea of SatGuru comes, then even in Hinduism, this notion of SatGuru means that it's someone who has one specific purpose and goal, and that is that they themselves, because they themselves are spiritually awakened, spiritually aligned, spiritually an authority, they also take on that role for others. And it's specifically to do with spirituality. And in the past, or probably even in this day and age, there are some who call themselves SatGuru, as you all know. There's one particular one that it's so SatGuru, S-A-T, or SatGuru, as in some parts of India, it's SatGuru and SatGuru is the same thing. And so such people consider themselves to be quite enlightened and quite spiritually evolved, and that they know a lot about scriptures. The gurus traditionally knew about scriptures a lot. In India, you have, Vedas, Upanishads, and Shastras, and all of this. So gurus would be experts in all of these different, or one of these different scriptures, and they teach that. But a SatGuru is much more than a teacher. His alignment with truth, his life has become a life of also a rishi. There are in India, traditionally there would have been rishis, munis, sannyasis, all of these different gurus, all of these different types of spiritually evolved people. So rishis are renunciates, and they've left their home. They literally live a life of simplicity, but they are also the ones who teach spirituality to others. Munis, the same thing. They are more evolved in scriptures. And sannyasis, they just leave everything and go and live in the jungles, not necessarily teaching either. Nowadays, they do that too. So, thinking about Baba as a SatGuru, for me, became a very, very powerful thing. And Baba actually says that only he is the true Guru. Only He is the SatGuru. The one thing that is also very powerful about SatGuru is that he takes everyone, he liberates everyone and takes them back home. So we know that any human being cannot do that. Yet we know that Baba is someone who does take us beyond. SatGuru is the one who takes you beyond with a glance. And so what are the aspects about Baba that enable us to recognize Baba as the true Guru? God is the ultimate and absolute authority. Authority of knowing, authority of knowledge, also an authority in this status, if you like, of absolute and total purity. Purity is a very, very powerful state of being. I wouldn't even say a quality, but a state of being that it enables God, the SatGuru, to be the ultimate spiritual authority. An authority that takes nothing from anything outside of himself, but is able to completely and utterly be centered within himself. He seeks nothing, he receives nothing, he takes nothing, he wants nothing, and yet he's everything. And therefore, Baba, as the SatGuru, becomes the ultimate authority. Authority of truth, but authority of purity, and authority of all understanding. And therefore, even though he says he's not all-knowing, he's not all-knowing in the way that this limited mind thinks about information and situation, but he is all-knowing. He's all-knowing in terms of he has the knowledge of the soul, he has the knowledge of matter, he has knowledge of time, he has knowledge of the consequences of the interaction between soul and matter. He has the knowledge of the past, the present, and the future. And so having this knowledge makes him the authority of truth. Being this incorporeal, spiritual energy of truth makes him also the ultimate authority. The notion that's remembered in Bhakti, and Baba talks about this as well, is that you must never defy a guru, defy the SatGuru. Laukic gurus, limited gurus have taken that on themselves, said that, okay, you must obey your guru. And people have learned to be afraid of this aspect, that if they don't do what the guru tells them to do, something's going to go wrong for them. Yet, why that notion exists is because there has been a time, which is now, that God has, from that place of being the authority, has given information, has given understanding, has given knowledge, not just as information, but as a power. And that when you have been the one who has had the opportunity to receive that power of truth, and you don't abide by that truth, then that becomes detrimental to the soul. It doesn't mean that God is the one who is giving you the consequences of not abiding by his ideas or principles, there comes a time in human existence where God makes himself available. And this is what we experience. And in doing so, he offers himself completely and utterly. And that if I've had that fortune to receive that, then with it also goes the obligation of following and doing what he tells you to do. So, in the West, people don't like this idea of having to be obedient or be abiding by what you've been told. People feel that they need to have the freedom to be able to do that. But you know what? Some of us don't have the freedom of choice because we have been entrusted with this role of being in front of God. We have been given the fortune. At the end of the day, why is it that we have the part of being Brahmins? Why is it that we have the part of being in front of Baba? Who knows? So many others perform good karma too, right? So I don't think it's just the fact that I performed good karma that I've become a Brahmin. It's just my part. I have the fortune of having the part. And therefore, I have the responsibility to abide by the truth that God, the SatGuru, the ultimate authority of knowledge and truth and purity, presents in front of me. And I think this is where the notion, the idea comes from in bhakti, that you must obey what the Guru tells you to do. So on the one hand, Baba doesn't give us the instruction one by one individually, but the overall instruction that Baba does give us all is that you be so conscious and remember me alone. Don't give sorrow to anyone and don't take sorrow from anyone. Give good wishes to others and receive good wishes from others. Give blessings to others and receive blessings from others. We hear about this and we kind of take it for granted, right? We understand the power of it, but we take it for granted. I'm remembering there were times when, of course, Dadi wasn't a guru, but Dadi was a very high spiritual authority, right? So often something would be going on for someone and she wants to tell them something, but she knows that she can't tell them. And the reason why she can't tell them is that when she tells them, in a sense, she is revealing an aspect of truth to them. And when she reveals that aspect of truth to them and they don't follow that truth, then it becomes a burden on the soul. So it's not that she is making it a burden, but she recognizes the power of truth in what she's saying to them. So she would say to me, tell this person that. But that's come through me, and so it doesn't carry the same, I suppose, if they want to hear it, if they want to see it, they can recognize it and follow it. But if Dadi directly tells them that and then they don't do it, then it becomes a burden. And in a sense, God, as the Satguru, the one to be never disobeyed, is similar kind of thing. It's not that, in bhakti they think that if you don't do what the Guru tells you, then you are that the Guru curses you. It's not that the Guru curses anyone. But what does happen is that, in a sense, Baba, for us also, Baba, in telling us something, is imparting the knowledge, then he's also imparting the power that goes with it. And when I don't receive that power, when I don't take that power, he's imparting. Every time God tells us to do something, he's never not giving power. And the way that God gives power is that it's an opportunity that has been given to me. It's a revelation of truth that is happening for me. And when that happens, and the sparkle goes off in my mind and in my heart, in that moment, I've received power. So God, as the SatGuru, he cannot make any compromises. Truth is absolute. Truth is equal for everyone. And so God, Baba, the SatGuru, never makes compromises. In a sense, what I think, the way I see it, is that Baba tells you everything exactly the way it is. And in doing so, I believe that he speaks to the eight. He has to speak to the eight. He has to reveal himself at the level of the eight. Because that opportunity is there for everyone and anyone who knows it. Anyone who listens to him or hears him, that opportunity is there for them. And so, but how then I listen to it, that's what makes me number wise. So when Baba gives us all of himself, when we've experienced Avyakt Baptada, I had the opportunity whereby I saw the dadis meet Baba. I saw ordinary people like me meet Baba. And I never saw difference in that meeting, in the sense that, Baba met the daddies with more love. He met me with less love, or he met someone else with more love and met someone else with less love. It was never, ever like that. And although Baba at different times plays different roles, we do become a bit deceptive about it. Baba plays the role of the father, Baba plays the role of a mother, Baba plays the role of just a teacher, and then Baba plays the role of a guru. Ultimately, that role of a guru is an uncompromising role. And I recognize that when I awaken to truth within my own self. So the mother cajoles the child, the mother picks up the child and rubs off all the dirt from the child, bathes the child, cleans the child, and forgives everything that the child does. The father then, forgives the child, but first make sure that the child understands. So the father has a different role. Father provides the opportunities. Father provides for the child, provides for the food, the roof over the head, and all of this. The teacher instructs the child, and the child at school can't compromise. And if the father was the teacher as well, that the child can't play games with the teacher at that time, just because his teacher is also the father. At that time, the child has to study and learn and do what the teacher is telling him to do, but also listen to the teacher as a teacher. And so this compromise is not possible. So what happens ultimately, as God, as the SatGuru, the one who is making me ready to return home. It means that
I'm sorry, Manda. Can you speak a little bit slower because there is a translation note?
Okay, sorry. So God, as the SatGuru, Baba says the SatGuru takes you beyond with a glance. So just think for a moment, the SatGuru that takes us beyond with a glance, what would be the state of that SatGuru? What would be, well, I was going to use the word consciousness, but I wonder if we can use the word consciousness for God. Or do we say a state of being? What is, maybe I will say consciousness, because I'm seeing Baba in the body of Dadi Gulzar. And how often did I have the experience, Baba? I'm just going to move a little bit because the sun is coming in and ease my eyes. So, Baba giving drishti through the body of Dadi Gulzar. Many have had that experience, or many have seen the videos of Avyat Bap Dada, if not in real life. Baba was absolute incarnation of purity, incarnation of silence. And it wasn't possible that you look into Baba's eyes and not go into a state of silence yourself. So Satguru, although Satguru is not Dharamraj, but you can imagine the role of Satguru changing into Dharamraj. Because the Satguru is the spiritual authority, because the Satguru is the incarnation of purity. The Satguru can give me the experience of being Dharamraj, because the Satguru doesn't want to hear any excuses, any reasons, any cajoling from my part. So, although we can experience Satguru now, because Satguru is the one who takes you beyond with a glance, it also becomes a final role that Baba plays. Even now, we can take drishti from Baba and go beyond with a glance. But at the end, he gives drishti and you fly home. And it's not a question of Baba being in front of you in a physical form or through a physical body, but it's to do with the recognition of God as the ultimate truth, the one who knows all there is to know. And interestingly, when I experience Baba as truth in that way, then I too become the one who knows. And that's why Baba also says to us that you too, you have mukti in one eye, jivan mukti in the other eye. And that through your drishti, you enable others to go beyond with a glance too. You know, something that is very powerful to think about, what happens when we are in a physical body, that is very easy to become biased, prejudiced, because I realized that when I am truthful, then, or when I am aligning with truth, then I'm not aligning with one side or the other. In the sense that if I say this is wrong, then I want to not associate with that. Or if I say this is right and I want to align with that, then I become one-sided or biased or prejudiced, whatever you want to call it. So truth means to be absolutely in a state of equilibrium. This is a very powerful state to be in. And this is what God is. Baba never takes sides, never becomes biased. And so the SatGuru never aligns with one way of being and not another. He remains absolutely unfazed, unchanged, and in a state of total purity. So Baba is the SatGuru, for me, is the incarnation of purity. And on the one hand, I think about the dadis when I think about their purity. But I think that it's probably even, whilst they were in the physical body, they couldn't play that role. You know, Baba has spoken about the tribunal will sit at the end, and the 8 jewels will be in the tribunal. And in a sense, I see that the role of the SatGuru, Baba as the SatGuru, probably is beyond the physical. It's in the state of spirituality, complete spirituality. So in a sense, now in that state of complete spirituality, he can give us the understanding of what it means to be that. And having done that, we also begin to recognize what it is that we have to do, that the SatGuru is the one never to be disobeyed, but to understand what it means not to disobey. And then you can align yourself with truth. You can take power from that recognition and follow every instruction, every aspect of Srimad that Baba gives. Okay, I'll stop here to invite any thoughts or comments or questions that you might have. And then at the end, we can have some meditation.
Yes, thank you so much. You were very clear. I'm just looking for the questions. There is one that came to me right now. It says that, can you say more things about the Dharamraj, about Dharamraj, how it will be?
Well, I associate, as I said, I associate Satguru and Dharamraj together. But it's a question of Baba is playing the role of Satguru at the moment anyway by giving us Srimad, which is the ultimate instructions. There's no instructions higher than that, right? So that's why he's playing the role now. But there comes a time when that role transforms into a Dharamraj role, because that's an uncompromising role. And so Baba becomes the truth. He knows what instructions he's given you. He knows what instructions you didn't follow when he gave them to you. So now he's not going to say anything. Now he's giving you opportunity after opportunity. But there comes a time when there's no more opportunity left. So when the opportunity is not there, because in a sense time has come to an end, then it means that I'm left with my own conscience. So truth presents itself in front of me. Dharam Raj, the supreme righteousness. If I want to, I can recognize that righteousness now. But if I don't recognize it now, then there comes a time, because the soul is truth. Soul without the body is truth. When I mix myself up with Manda and consider Manda to be the truth, or a way of life, or a way of being, then I've mixed. The soul that's behind here is the truth. It's my lack of recognition of that that gives me permission to constantly use this label of Manda and make excuses for myself. So there comes a time when I can no longer make those excuses, because all that remains is the soul. And the soul cannot make excuses because Manda is gone. This physical form of Manda is not there anymore, and I used it. So that's why, that's when Dharamraj has come in front of me and says to me, hello, so to speak. So does the Satguru have a subtle form or body? It's not that the Satguru has a subtle form of body, it's Baba. It's the role that he's playing. Would you say that Baba as the mother has a subtle form? If you think that, then yeah, sure he does. Is the teacher a subtle form or a subtle body? If you think that, then yes. But no, Baba, the incorporeal, plays the role of all of this through instruments of whoever, that might be whoever that becomes, that gives me the experience of that, becomes the instrument, but it's Baba who's giving it to me. So I still struggle to accept 5,000 year cycle. I really want to see this as truth, but I feel resistance in my mind. How do you take this knowledge from Baba as Satguru? Well, to take that knowledge from Baba as the Satguru is to say, I accept what you say. And then go into soul consciousness. You can only accept 5,000 years when you've experienced soul consciousness, when you've experienced the eternity of the soul, when you experience in that eternity of the soul a connection with God, when you recognize that this physical world is a limited world, it changes its shape and form, but it never ever disappears completely. All of these aspects, when you grasp those, or when you become open to accepting these, because they have come from Baba, then I can begin to see Baba as Satguru, or I begin to experience the reality of what he's saying. So what is the epical thing that we did before to be now God's instruments? Well, I think you just have to say it's your fortune and your part. That's all. It's just you are destined to do that. That's all you have to accept. Don't keep using your intellect. You are here, you're in front of God, You have the fortune, take it and run with it instead of trying to dissect it with the intellect. Because the more you do that, the more distance you create between yourself and fortune, between what's being offered to you in front of you. Taking you beyond with a glance, is it with the subtle form? Doesn't have to be. It can be just a realization of God's energy of light and purity and truth. It can be, but it may not be. It's just you realizing the power of that and running with that, opening to yourself to that. Okay.
Well, there's another question that came to me here.
Uh-huh.
It says, even though we, even though we understand the truth, we understand Baba, why we don't follow his instructions sometimes? What is wrong with us? I mean,
Um, well, you can ask yourself the question. We have been bogged down, if you like. We've been bogged down with the physical matter so much, so much. And we continue to be bogged down with it. So really, I suppose it's time to, to really take an opportunity to go inside ourselves. It's an opportunity to go within as much as we possibly can, to experience the subtlety of the soul, to experience the possibility and the experience of the energy of the soul, the truth of what Baba is saying, where, in a sense, fireworks should go off in my head when I hear some of these things that Baba tells me. And the reason why these fireworks go off in my head is because I've experienced soul consciousness. I've experienced God consciousness. Ultimately, it boils down to just practicing, just being soul conscious, not just only or really taking the time to do that. Did I have an experience of SatGuru? I'm not sure necessarily it's an experience in a sense that like a scary experience or like a Dharamraj experience. No, I haven't had that. But I do recognize the power of the instructions. And I recognize them through having heard Nadi, I suppose, in the sense that she said something to me and it's kind of really pierced my heart. And I've seen the reality of what she said and that I can't do anything but do that, no matter how much I don't want to do it. Now, although I now feel that we're at a stage where everybody is finding their own place. And as I said, although we all as I said, that, you know, Baba is speaking to the eight, and we heard it in that way. We drove ourselves to do that, and we might find that we're not able to do it. So then we kind of step back or take a seat back, and and that's okay, because not everybody, we also learn everybody's number wise. I had this great experience the other day while reading the Murli in class, and that was that Baba has just said that the reason why it is that you're not able to always accept everyone is because you don't understand that all are number wise. All are number wise. I'm number wise too. I'm not one of the eight. Well, Daddy Janki would say, don't ever say that. You could be. There's an opportunity for you to be it. So I think we're at a place now where we're all finding our own place. 108 or 16,108 or 17,108, whatever. And it's not in terms of numbers, but we also recognize that it's a kingdom that's being established and that all of us are at a different place, and that's okay. And so it's important to be aligned with yourself. It's also important to be aligned with what presents itself in front of you. It's important to be aligned with your karma, if you like. And I feel that the SatGuru sees all of that too. It's not that you're not following what he wants you to do, he's telling you to do, but I think there would also be the sense that whatever you do in your life, as long as your heart is peaceful, you are aligned with what you're doing, you're being soul conscious, you're remembering Baba, you're not giving sorrow to anyone, you're not taking sorrow from anyone, then whatever number you're at, it still aligns with what the Satguru says, be so conscious and remember me alone. How much Baba was talking today about remembering him, and yet also warning us that Maya is there too, really there. So he understands that too. So I need to build a relationship with Satguru too, acknowledge the truth of his instructions.
Wonderful. You were really very clear. And we will have to check ourselves from time to time because sometimes Maya comes disguised in Satguru and we find our own excuses, but we say that's okay, it doesn't matter, it's nothing. So can you tell us? I had this question. Now we have the global body every month. So how can we be karma yogis, have karma and yoga at the same time? How can we, you make so much effort and work and everything. Are you karma yogi all the time? And how do we deal with that?
You know what? A practices that I'm having more and more is beginning to have this attitude or this mindset of really sitting behind and observing. Just sitting behind my eyes and observing. And therefore, when I'm performing actions too, I want to continue to do that. Be an observer. Baba talks about being a sati and sakshi. Sakshi means to be an observer. And then sati comes after that. If I'm not an observer, I can't be a sati, can't be his companion. So I'm trying to be more and more an observer first, developing that practice. And so sometimes I lose it and I say something or I say it in a certain way, which I don't want to do, but I have done it. Like I did it yesterday. I said something. And what I was saying was true. That's exactly how I feel, but I said it perhaps a bit too abruptly. So to catch myself doing that so that I next time I'm more careful. So I think it's about being an observer and really developing the practice of the separation between you and what's happening outside of you. Separation between you and your thoughts. Separation between you and your sanskars. This separation is what we forget. And we forget it when we're busy, when we're caught up in the doing. That's when we forget it. So at that time, it's important to slow down. Very, very slow. Because when you slow down, then you can catch the words, catch the vibrations, catch yourself before you've lost it. And that's just an ongoing practice until the end. Baba says, until you become karmatit, you have to keep doing that.
Thank you. So there's a question, how do you see Baba as a Sadguru in practical life?
Well, isn't this what we've been talking about? Following his Srimad, listening to the Murli, not reacting to the Murli when you hear it. When Baba is saying things, Baba will say, well, you better follow my instructions or else you will be in Dharam Rajpuri. Do I react to that or do I hear it? I go, okay, Baba. It's how much do I recognize Baba as God? It's really to do with how much do I recognize Baba as God, or do I forget because Baba is in such an ordinary form that I forget that he's God and he can tell me whatever is, and I'm okay to hear it. So in practical life, there are times every day in different ways Baba might be playing the role of a Satguru. He's the mother when he's compassionate. He's also the teacher. He's the father, but he's also a Satguru. When he says, what I'm telling you is the truth. You better do what I tell you to do or else.